Welcome to the Straight Red Card. We are back for the final segment of this episode. Do we call them episodes, Brett? I don't.
It's we're the final episode of this window.
Yeah.
We're gonna play on Windows too, so why not?
All right. But here we are. Oh God. I totally blanked our last conversation. Oh, shitty music. Shitty fucking music. I was gonna start this show by going
It's the final countdown.
Oh, they're Swedish. They were Swedish, right? They were Swedish.
No shit.
Yeah, and then the name of the band was Europe. But,
I bet you they're from Africa.
I mean, no, Sweden's in Europe, but yes,
Crazy talk.
Sweden's in Europe. Brett's playing dumb. He knows that. All right, so but the lyrics for that song, frankly, were just god awful. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hit when we were kids. Or
again,
you were in middle school. I was in high school.
Knowing the song, I can sing. Let's see, it's the final countdown. I know 4 words of the entire song.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, it was a garbage song. It just had a very catchy tune that everybody in the stadium knows to sing along with and get you pumped up, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the lyrics are a complete ripoff of basically a really a middle school ripoff of David Bowie's Major Tom, basically, because the lyrics are all about this guy leaving for space and with so many light years to go, things to be found. I'm sure that we'll all miss her. So it's the final countdown, whatever the fuck that means. The lyrics were bad. They were bad, but they're Swedish. So, hey, man, it's like actually some of their lyrics are a lot better than the lyrics I read now. So I'm not going to totally shit on them, but it was a pretty frivolous song.
Are you saying that that final countdown is better lyrically than Wet Ass Pussy?
I've actually only listened to that song once, and I was so fucking shocked by it. I'm not sure I have an opinion. I never thought we would get to a point where there would be a song called Wet Ass Pussy. I really did.
I will say it's made the IT industry a little it's definitely a confusing segment there because wireless access point is also called WAP, which happens to be the name of the song. So it's like, you go and you Google WAP and you get something you were not expecting.
Who was that? What's her name? Nicki? Is it Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj?
Is it Nicki Minaj? I think so.
Wow.
It wouldn't shock me if
Cardi B. It's Cardi B.
Cardi B. That's right.
It was one of the two.
God, what a gross song. I don't really want to think about that. I mean, listen, we all need that, right? When things are happening, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to rap about it. Yeah. It's like the word moist.
Yeah, let's just continue talking about shuttlecocks. I mean, come on.
Shuttlecocks. Frank Zappa did write a song in the 70s called
Raging Hard On?
Well, that one. And there's another one that goes, don't fool yourself, girl. It's going right up your poop chute. Remember that one? Poop chute? I think Poop chute was the name of the song. So, yeah, I mean, we've had
I'm not Googling that, Derek. Sorry.
Yeah, I get you in trouble. All right, so
shoot. No shit. No, literally.
Exactly. We've got 30 players in the midst of all this poop shoot business to name for Gregg Berhalter's roster. And again, I think it's going to be a mix for us. We're trying to be realistic, but at the same time, there are players we think should be there that might not be there, and we're going to talk about that. So we got 30 players. And
let's also specify the reason we're picking 30 is because in the last window we suffered 4 to 5 injuries, and then we were struggle busting on that Honduras game, despite the fact that was our best performance for 45 minutes.
Yeah, let's be honest. We're picking 30 because Gregg was a dumbass. by picking less than that amount or
Mhm.
less than 26. When Weah went out, he should have replaced Weah. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, maybe he learned a lesson. This is his first window as a manager of the United States men's national team during qualifying. Maybe he didn't realize how much shit goes down. That Death's going to go out. Reyna's going to go out. People are going to go down.
Well, I mean, like we lost Weah, we lost Reyna, we lost McKinney, but you know what? He called in Jackson Ewell, so we're safe.
God, that's like the worst. Yeah, that did not look good on paper.
He was like an hour and a half flight away from Honduras, though.
Yes,
so it was all geographical. I mean, the guy got like 30 minutes of play time in the Gold Cup, so I don't think he called him in because he's like, dude, this is who I'm going to fall back on. No, it's like, okay, who can I fall back on? And that's pretty close. I can fly out here real quick, you know?
I mean, it's possible that Adams, Acosta, and Sands could have got syphilis during their time at camp, and that
breaking COVID regulations there.
And then Ewell would have been necessary. I don't think anybody gets syphilis anymore, or maybe they do. I heard that venereal diseases contraction is like way higher than ever right now. I might be wrong with that. I just heard that somewhere. I don't know what article I read. So, hey, wear a welly. All right, wear a welly, also known as a condom. We need to cut down on the gonorrhea and the syphilis. All right, so let's start with the goalkeeper, and keep in mind that there's been an article written that said that players who play in England won't be available for the Panama game because Panama's on the red list, the British red list.
So that's another reason why we're bringing in third. Not only because of the injuries that occurred, and then you have to plan ahead and plan accordingly for it, but the fact that we're going to be missing like four players for the middle game, our away game. So what's nice about that is that plays into the fact that you can rotate players around and they're going to be refreshed for all the matches. And it's not like you're just focusing on the same 11 for 270 minutes in 6 days. But this gives us a chance to rotate players in and out for the 2 home games and then bring in some other players for the away matches. So this is why we're bringing in 30 players, because we're going to need to replace some of those players.
And that's why we're bringing 4 goalkeepers.
Yep.
Right. And I think, stop me where you disagree, Brett, but I think it's Turner, Horvath, Stefan, and Sean Johnson, because that's been pretty consistent.
I think based off of what Berhalter's called in, yes. I can't imagine him branching out of that.
You can argue for Marcinkowski or some other guys. I get it, but I think that's the safe 4.
It's qualifier, and that's what Berhalter called in. Look at the Gold Cup. Who did he call in? He called in Turner, who was going to be arguably our third goalkeeper option.
Yep.
And then he brought in Guzan and he brought in Johnson. If he was going to bring in somebody else, they would have brought him in over Guzan or brought him over Johnson. But those are the backups that he brought in the Gold Cup. That's who he's going to bring in if he needs to bring somebody else in.
Yep. And with the fact that 2 of the 4 won't be able to go to Panama, you need Turner and Johnson as the backup in Panama.
Well, you need a second keeper, because there's no way that we're going to go to Panama with just one keeper. God forbid Turner comes up injured or something, and then all of a sudden we have to rely on a field player to jump back in there. Oof.
Right.
Crazy.
And then I think for left back and right back, I think it's quite simple. I think with Vines out for whatever amount of time you're going to mention for left back, then it's Robinson Bello, and right back it's Dest and Yedlin, with the backup being Scally for both wings at this point. 5 guys for left back and right back.
Oh, I had listed 6.
Who'd you add?
I have Araujo / Yedlin. Oh, sorry. Let's go with right back. I have Dest, Moore, Araujo, Yedlin.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to Dest. Don't get me wrong, but Dest, Moore.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait a second, what?
Yeah, Moore's not playing a whole lot right now. I don't know why. He got back from a really great performance, and his club team's kind of hanging him out to dry and benched him and made him come off the bench to play. And he did this weekend too. And I don't know what's going on there.
And I haven't followed the team by any means. And it's possible that they were expecting to transfer him in the silly season. But And maybe somebody came through the woodwork and has been performing well for them. I don't know.
Well, I know for us, it ain't Cannon. Cannon
No.
is in such a super dick position right now at Boa Vista. He's not on the roster at all. He's not in the 18. They have like disowned him completely, and yet he's got no place to play. And the window's pretty much closed.
And
so
I will grant
fucked.
I will grant you that if you wanted to say bring in somebody else somewhere in the field, you could easily remove one of the right back options, whether it's Moore or Araujo / Yedlin. Again, this is all depicting on what Araujo decides, and assuming that the rumors are true that he's going to pick this window. If he doesn't pick this window, then you obviously can scratch him right off the list because he's not going to make the decision one way or another. But if he's planning on making a decision this window and he chooses us, I can see Berhalter bringing him in as our second option on the right instead of Moore, and then just having, like you mentioned, Scully play the third option for both left and right back,
and maybe first option on some games.
Yes. So let's rephrase that. Yeah, I guess as the roaming player, he can play. He can literally start for either spot.
Yeah, because Dest's not blowing anybody's balls off right now as our right back. I know he played full 90 with Barcelona, who tied today, but he didn't look
Got a
that
late
great.
Equalizer, from what I understood.
Yeah, he didn't look that great in that game either. So listen, I know he plays for Barcelona, but this isn't your grandfather's Barcelona. All right. So, take that how you will, but
he's a talented wingback. He just has not really been performing for the United States national team. So we'll just leave that as is.
Well, right now he's not performing that well for Barcelona either.
True.
So there's that too. All right, center back. Again, I've got 5 going this time instead of 6. And I had Richards, Miles Robinson, Brooks, and McKenzie as the for sure guys. But then that last slot, if you want to go 5, then it's kind of between CCV, Zimmerman, and Ream, isn't it?
So wait, you said Robinson, Brooks, Richards, and McKenzie?
Yeah, Richards, Miles Robinson, Brooks, and McKenzie. I think they're locked in.
Those are the lock in 4 that I would agree with too. And here's another thing. You could make the argument that looking at our center backs, there's not a single one of them plays in England outside of Ream, and you could make the argument and say bring 4. That still grants you the flexibility of playing 3 backline and still be able to utilize that extra position, that spot, for another field player somewhere else.
I mean, so you
could make that argument. I have those same 4, and then I have Ream. But I could say you could nix Ream and bring somebody else, because even if we play a 3 back in one of the games, that still means that there's still going to be at least 2 players resting for most games.
So I brought Ream 2 and I brought 5.
Yeah.
And but I do think that Cameron Carter-Vickers is making an argument outside of the game today where they didn't play very well. Celtic didn't. But, he's great in his first game. Listen, if CCV keeps doing this for Celtic, he's going to have to get into this conversation eventually. But right now, too early for me. Let's let him play for Celtic for a while and prove his point. Zimmerman, very reliable. Mm-hmm. And I think that Gregg likes Zimmerman a lot. So, but I think he likes Ream a lot too. So that's like the coin flip. He's not going to bring 6 again, is he? I mean, is he?
I would
really?
hope not, because that was pointless. Unless he lists Sands as a center back option, who then could also play the 6, which is what happened in the end.
Yeah.
So
let's do the 6 then. I mean, Adams and Acosta are like, they're in stone. The question is, who else besides those 2? And it could be Sands, and that would give you 3 holding midfielders on the roster.
I had gone out and I went ahead and put, since we went for the 30-man roster, I went ahead and put Sands as my third 6.
So did I. So yeah, I had him there.
Despite how poor he played against Honduras, I still have him as our third option.
And then the weird thing is that Acosta can still play 8.
True. Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. Yep.
Especially if we get to the eights and we're thinking, okay, is McKennie going to be there or not? Or
I think he's going to get called up regardless if he follows through with the 3-game ban like we thought of what you had mentioned, and I've heard it too. That means he misses one of the home games in which he'll play for the last 2 games, which works out nicely because we need the extra players for the Panama game because we're going to be missing so many players. And mind you, oddly enough, we're not missing out any of their midfield against Panama. That's not up for a question there.
right.
And quite frankly, I had written down my list, my initial 26, just going off of that, and then I added players on to make my full 30. Just going off of what Berhalter did last time, and looking at that, outside of goalkeeper, we weren't really hamstringed anywhere. Out in the left back, maybe because obviously Robinson's gone, but we have enough depth everywhere that we lose Pulisic. Okay, that sucks. But then we have Weah, Reyna, Aronson, Green, Conrad de la Fuente. It's we've got enough players to replace the players, but goalkeeper would obviously be slaughtered because we're losing 2 of our 3.
Yeah, I mean, goalkeeper's gonna have to be sliced, obviously, for the Panama game. If this red ban, it's whatever they're calling it,
I don't see it changing this window.
I don't either.
No.
But for midfield, then you've got McKennie, if you believe McKennie's coming.
Yep.
You've got Legit. He's coming. There's no way around it.
Nope.
Roldan's coming. I don't care what you say. He's coming. That's, again, another Berhalter favorite. Then it comes down to, all right, if we bring 5, I just named 3, then that means that we've got guys to pick from. De La Torre, Musa, Busio, Green. 2 of those guys are going to make this. I think they're going to make this roster. And I picked De La Torre and Musa. I might be wrong.
I didn't even think of Musa for whatever reason. I have no idea why I didn't think about him. But no,
I would
I would absolutely include him. So I've got Luca De La Torre and Musa. But I guess the big question is, I mean, our wing options really limited to playing just the wing? Again, we've talked about possibility of Reyna pushing back.
Yeah, but I don't see it happening. I mean, we tried.
I don't see Berhalter. Well, I don't see Berhalter making that decision in the end. I think he's going to play the players where he feels comfortable at, whether or not those are the strongest suited positions, and it might not be. It might be. Who knows? I mean, we can all make our arguments for Reyna being in the center. We can all make arguments for him being out wide, closer to goal.
But he'll be listed as a forward.
He'll be listed as a winger, forward,
Aronson will be too, even though he's an option at midfield. But after the failed experiment for the first game, maybe not anymore. I just think, it's going to be Musa or Busio. Yeah. I mean, De La Torre might get screwed again, and it might be Musa Busio, which is, listen, that's not a problem for me. I think Busio's doing pretty damn good at Venezia. So I don't really have an issue with that either. I just think Green's definitely out. He just lost his starting spot at Greuther Fürth, and they are sinking like a stone, just like we predicted in the Bundesliga. Sinking hard and sinking fast. It's been ugly, very ugly. I think that takes care of the midfield. All right, wingers, not center forwards, wingers.
Yeah.
This is I
mean this is pretty straight down the list. I mean, this is the same. Nothing's changed here, in my opinion.
But I think you bring 5, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's Reyna, Pulisic, Aronson. Yep. Those are rock starters, right?
Guaranteed top 3. Yep.
Those 3 are rocks. So we need 2 out of Weah, Conrad, and Hoppy. That's where the question comes.
Well, that makes my decision a lot easier because I don't have Hoppy as a winger in my list. So I'm going to go with Weah and De La Fuente.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So I took Hoppy as a winger, and I took Conrad as a winger, and I did that because Weah just came back from injury, and I don't think early October he's going to be ready to go yet. I don't think he's going to be.
We've got 5 wingers. He might not even see a lick of playing time. We'll see, but no. So again, I look at the Gold Cup and Hoppy playing as a winger in that situation. And don't get me wrong, he played well throughout the entire cup. And he could play that winger position. He's got the determination, he's got the energy and the hunger. I would love to see him as a center option with Pepe and Pfock in this cup, in this window.
I would too, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean, we have enough winger depth in this roster, whereas in the Gold Cup we didn't, because Berhalter chose not to bring in some players over others, or quite frankly, we just didn't have enough winger depth from, say, position 6 and on in our winger depth.
So how many center forwards are you bringing?
3. I'm keeping Sargent at home.
Okay, so Sargent for you goes home. So
Yep.
I had Siabatu, Pepe, and Sargent, and I honestly thought about leaving Sargent home too. I really did.
I feel like Sargent needs to establish himself at Norwich, and I think he needs to gain some confidence back before we start throwing him back out. And Pepe's performance against Honduras has definitely earned him the next start in our first home match. And going from there, we don't know. Pfox scoring for young boys.
It's hard to leave Pfock off because he just keeps fucking scoring.
Yeah.
Whether it's with young boys in the league or young boys in Champions League, he just can't stop scoring. I don't know what you can do but to keep him on.
And to counter what happened against Honduras, where Berhalter ended up playing Sargent as a right winger, by including Hoppy over Sargent in that sense, you have somebody who you know can actually perform at the winger for you, which he did in the Gold Cup, as an option that if you want to throw him out there, you could. So say if some other injuries pop up, or we need to throw Reyna in the midfield and all of a sudden our wing depth is non-existent, then at that point you still have a player who's versatile enough that can play out wide or in the center.
Yeah, I think Sargent can do both as well.
Sure. I don't disagree with that at all.
I just think that you might be right. Maybe Sargent just needs to take a step back and maybe do some self-reflection. Maybe, I mean, look at what Hoppy has that Sargent doesn't have. It's called a pair of hairy ones. And I'm sorry, but I know that's crude. It's a very crude thing to say, but Hoppy is like, he's like Clint Eastwood on steroids, and Sargent's this quiet, gentle giant, and he just needs to stop being that. He needs to kick it up a notch.
Well, and I've mentioned that Sargent needs to get a little grittier. Quite frankly, he's been asked over the last year and a half to be that dirty work player that does all, checks back, collects the ball, draws a foul, or distributes out wide, but never receives that service in the end. Sometimes he just needs to get a little greedier and try to take that shot on, even if it's not the best. You saw Hoppy do it in the Gold Cup. He cut it inside, and he wanted to rip that shot, even if there are 3 players in front of him. He was ready to go for it. So he's got that hunger, that drive to get that goal, whereas Sargent seems to want to be that team player, which, don't get me wrong, that's what I feel like a lot of the managers that he's been under have been asking him to do. Be that team player. Let's do this.
Hoppy just jumped on the field for Mallorca for his first game.
Yeah.
Played 30 minutes, scored a goal. Yeah, sure. It was offsides. I get it. But dude,
he's hungry.
I mean, he wants to eat W's. He wants to eat G's, goals. I mean, the dude is hungry as fuck. And he's confident as hell. He's almost borderline arrogant. He's Dempsey.
Yeah, I was saying we referred to him as the next Dempsey, And
yes,
people are saying at some point he could easily outdo Dempsey on the cockiness, And I would love that. I would love to have that player on the team that just comes out there and is just ready to say, you know what, fuck you, I'm taking you on and I'm going to own your ass,
Yep.
I'd love to see that. Love to see that.
I love seeing it. And you just said cock again.
Yep.
No.
He would love, show that shuttlecock,
Shuttlecock cockiness.
Shuttlecockiness.
Cocky here, cocky there, little cocky there, little cock and spiel, little Cockenheimer. All right. I think that does it for this show. again, like, subscribe, share it with your let me see.
I think YouTube just cut us off from all the cocks.
They might have.
The cocks, what can I say?
They can suck one. How's that? All right. No, we love YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. You're paid for a new video editor for us. We appreciate that. Woohoo. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, make sure you wipe thoroughly. Good night.